Yeah, we on a sister ship. Come with us, we on a sister ship. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Roll with us, we on a sister ship.
Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it.
We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya.
Substance, sis, you know we on a mission, no games. Help each other get over some things. Build strength, bring change. Cause we've been through the rain. Now it's time to shine like bling. Let's talk about life skills. We building up our quality to right wills. We rolling out of poverty, love heals. So we become the prodigy of how a sistership could be a really hot commodity. Stand together, we united, hold hands. Support each other dreams and our plans. Doing everything we can. Just to show we understand the power of a friendship fam. Live life on purpose. Together we learn it. Yeah, let's talk. We don't wanna see you hurt. And we here for each other. No matter the color, networking. That's for sure and for certain. Come on. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Come with us. We on a sister ship. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Roll with us. We on a sister ship.
We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya.
Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it.
We on a sister ship. We on a sister ship today. Oh my God, mothership. Sister ship. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Hello, everybody. Happy blessed Sunday. This is your girl, Fire, right here on the Sister Ship Network.
On fire.
On fire, on fire. I know. It's. We'll talk about the fire. We'll talk about the fire in the moment. But I want to wish everybody a happy blessed Sunday. I'm very excited to be here today.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, it's a blessing to have our girl here today, Velena Hayes. I call her the singstress, the powerhouse singer.
Yeah,
she got a voice on her. Today our topic today is actually going to be, all month long we've been talking about children, family planning, or not. Or not. We've been talking about a lot of subjects this month. I realized about, we had the women's rights, reproductive rights. The brothership covered that the first week of the month, and then we talked about adoption and foster care. Now we're talking about motherhood after your children are grown.
What?
What? But before we go there,
Before
we go there, I can't say anything without Mama C, the Oracle, up in the house today with the sistership.
Yeah, they drove me in here today. They said I had to be here. And when you pass the torch, and I pass the torch to these women, and they tell me what I need to do, and whenever I have something to say, I say it. But there's some dynamic women, my daughter and Stephia, and even our Velena. Velena and I go way back, way back. Love is love. And we have a loving sistership in the women in our circle and the men. I mean, it's the most fabulous connection I've ever had since high school. Because I have some of my high school girlfriends, we're still best friends.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. So I know they helped me to learn what sistership was all about.
Yeah.
And so I've carried that in my heart, carried that in my mind. And it's just beautiful. So, when the right group of sisters come along,
Yes.
and even with the brothership,
Right.
there's no fighting, there's no, we all respect what each
Mhm.
other brings to the table.
Mhm.
And that's so important. You know?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
important.
Respect the boundaries, respect, what people are going through.
Absolutely.
Be there to support them when
Absolutely.
there's a need,
Absolutely.
and this is all comes from elements of what we as women, how we come together and
Yes.
how we can be in a human
And-
element of society,
Oh,
right?
and that's so important and so powerful. And I have conversations with people, just this almost every day with somebody who was like, "What is wrong with people?" I said, "The problem is," and this is, there's a difference between a problem and a challenge.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are problematic, and that's how they live their lives. And so if you say to them, you don't have a problem, you have a challenge.
That's
you
right.
want to meet that challenge and go through it, overcome it, rise above it, and become so much better. You can't have a conversation with everybody.
No, you
Okay,
can't.
'cause some
You got to
people like
change the
being
narrative.
miserable.
Right.
They like having
Right.
something to stress over.
Mhm.
They like having something to be depressed about.
Mhm.
No, I don't do that. I just leave folks where they are. That's where you need to be for the moment. I've had my
Yeah.
time. I've been depressed on occasion, but you know what? Once I learned that I can control that depression and that I can feel it, but I don't have to stay there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That I can choose to be happy, and whatever makes me happy or supports my happiness, that's what I can reach out to, hold on to, and poof, the depression kind of goes away. Now I've had clinical depression, which for me was a chemical reaction,
Imbalance.
my imbalance, and once I had medication and went through therapy. Oh, girl, can't stop me now.
Well, it's interesting you say that because we talk about happiness, depression, postpartum depression.
Postpartum. Did you have that?
Things.
Oh, I did too.
I didn't know at the moment that I was having it, and then I had to evaluate what was going on because I'm not a low-spirited person.
Right.
And when I started noticing
That you were feeling low.
Yeah, and I didn't even have it wasn't any specific thing that was going on. I just sometimes woke up that way, and it was like I was like, okay, I think this might be postpartum.
Yeah.
Because why
You don't know
am
what
I
you're
crying?
feeling, right.
I'm crying for nothing.
You know what? One day when my daughter was, I think she must have been about a month old, and my godmother came to the house to check on us. I opened the door. I'm crying, the baby crying. I mean, even during those days, they didn't talk about postpartum.
Right.
That it wasn't a big topic. So, I knew I was feeling something. I didn't know why. I had my baby. I loved my baby, and it was just the two of us. I wasn't in an environment that was unsafe anymore, and neither was she. I had her in a safer environment, even though it was like one half the size of this room. But you know what? You come through it. When you have people who check on you, who care about you.
Yeah.
And you know who cares about you, and
Makes a big difference.
it makes a big difference. And your daughter who's in college and your mother, you had them. They're like right there. They were your support system. I had my godmother. She was my support system. So she told me every morning when I got up that I was to get the baby ready, I was to get ready, and I was to go to her house. She was at work, but I had to go right to her house. But she wanted me to come out of that little room I was in because it was very the room itself was depressing. But it was a safe place for me and my child because of my father. I wouldn't dare live in a house with my baby with my father who sexually molested me. So no. So you know what? That little room, that was the first time in my life I felt safe. And then it just grew from there. And when she was 3 months, a kitchenette became available, which was a huge room with the kitchen. And so I was able to do everything. So step by step, I progressed as a mother, and sometimes you don't know how am I going to do this?
Right.
There are days when you're uncertain. You say, why did I do this? And then there's questions you ask, like, and I was nowhere near being ready when I had my daughter. But I had her, And let me tell you, I knew she was supposed to
And you stepped
be
up.
here because I got pregnant with her with an IUD, and it was in place. It hadn't come out.
Now that's she
So
was meant
I
to
said
be.
that she was meant to be
Yeah.
here, and that's what I said.
Oh yeah.
This child, and I prayed. I said,
When you told us
Time
the
out.
story, when she told us the story about
"All
that,
right, Terry."
Wow.
Terry's
tell
like,
me-
don't tell
I've
her, don't
heard
tell her.
stories like that before, but
Yeah.
to hear from you,
Yeah.
like somebody so close.
You know, we go through it, but you know
Yeah.
what? It's step by step by step.
Yeah,
Okay,
she was meant.
I moved my baby before I had her. I moved me and my belly into this little room, and then when she was 3 months, we moved to a larger room with my own kitchen and everything. So you know what?
You just
For
keep in the
anyone who
gear.
has children, realize if you're not in a good place, if you don't feel like you're ready, guess what? Start getting ready. Let's take it step by step. Yeah, yes, I would love to have been in a mansion with a
Absolutely.
car and all the amenities,
That's
but it
not
wasn't
going to
gonna
be
happen
anything.
like that.
But you know what? That doesn't even, but that itself, like you can live in a room and be happy
Oh, absolutely.
because of you yourself are happy. You don't need
Absolutely.
all the luxuries in the world for that. You know, it's funny. I watched on Netflix. There's a show, West Coast, California, Beverly Hills, selling properties, real estate agents, and I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, it's gorgeous, but you know what? If
Yeah.
you're not happy
If
inside,
you're not happy inside.
that's not going to make you happy.
And that's a whole nother
Absolutely.
conversation.
That's a whole
because we see
nother
that all the time,
conversation.
every-
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely, absolutely. And let me just say, when I say a mansion, I mean somewhere safe, somewhere home that's mine. You know,
Make it
as far as I'm concerned now, we live in a mansion now.
That's right.
Because you know what? There's love, there's happiness,
Right.
and all the necessities in this home. So I'm happy every day. Or I'm, the chemical thing acts up every now and then. I feel a little low, or maybe something will happen with one of the folks in the house, and that'll bring me down a little bit. But then I realize, hey, as an empath, we always have to remember that our emotions are affected by the people around
They
us.
No, they are.
So
They
we
are.
have to realize where other people around us are, so that we don't
don't-
be drawn into
Into
that
it. Yep.
negative energy, and that's an important thing
Mm-hmm.
when you have a baby, especially when you're a single mother with a child
And have an adult child.
have an
at
adult
that.
child,
So that leads us right into this, because you talk about what makes you happy and content as a mother. So tell us your story, because you have an adult child and now you have
In
a
college.
baby. In college.
Yes.
And now you have a baby. So talk
Oh,
about
man.
that. Talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
your journey. She's
Wow.
like, you don't put me
The
there now.
funniest thing
After you're
is,
30.
Right.
wow, yes, that's the other part. just that was a mental thing for me too. But it was the pandemic. First of all, that
Lot of
Pandemic,
babies.
baby.
and
Pandemic,
that,
baby.
I like to say, she was my diamond in the rough, because that was a rough situation for the entire world,
Yeah.
not just
Wow.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
So here it is. We're quarantining at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not much to do when you quarantine. Obviously, right?
I'll drink to
that.
Okay, there was
I'll
no
drink to
man
that.
in my life, so we couldn't do that.
I'll
And
do it.
even if we could do that,
I'll
I would
drink
not
to
have
that.
no baby because I don't have no uterus.
Okay.
But I had no idea. Funny enough, you're talking about the IUD. I was going to get my IUD put back in because I took it out for a month because I wanted to give my body a little bit of a break. I've been on it. My daughter's 20. I was on it 19 years.
Wow.
Off and on every 5 years.
Right.
But I said, I'm going to give it a break, and then I'm going to think of I wanted to switch IUDs.
Right.
Just to give me a break. I spoke to the doctor. I mean, no doctor is perfect. I'm not perfect, but I thought that I knew my body, and I thought that he would have I can't blame the doctor. What he said to me when he took it out was, you've been on it 19 years. It's going to take some time to get out your system. Now you're over 30, so you're not going to get pregnant. He didn't say you're not, but chances are I wouldn't get pregnant right away, because he said even 20-year-olds, after taking out an IUD, would take at least up to a year
To get pregnant.
to get pregnant.
Wow.
So
I never heard
in
that
my
one.
mind, well, he was saying it would take, 6 months to a year, but he said somebody my age.
And yeah,
God, like I'm 100.
in other words,
I mean,
you can forget all about getting pregnant.
Basically, he was saying it would be more difficult. It would take me a longer amount of time. Plus, considering the fact I'm on this IUD for 19 years.
That's a long time. Yeah.
So just logically in my mind, I'm thinking, I even thought at some points that I couldn't get pregnant, but I was okay with that. I kind of figured this thing's been in me a minute. I'm probably sterile.
Oh, geez.
And I was cool with it because I said I didn't want any more kids.
You said that. You said that.
No, but we say one thing, God has
God has another plan.
You know what? I went to get it, and he's an older guy, my obstetrician. I don't use him anymore now because once I got into the part of having the baby, he wasn't in that part of the practice. But he says, you know, pee in the cup and the okey doke. And so I'm like completely confident. And then he comes back and he looks at me with this look, and I'm like, am I dying or something? Because of the way he just gave me this serious look, and I'm like, what's going on?
Like, what's up, Doc?
And pregnancy was the furthest thing from my mind. I thought something was going on with me.
Yeah.
You know, and then he said, well, I don't know how you feel, but he goes, you're pregnant. I said, no, I'm not. I said, you're lying. I said, no, it's a false positive. I said, I want a blood test. I said, I got to have a blood test because I said, that'll make no sense. So he goes, okay, I'll give it to you, you know. So when the blood work came back, they looked at my HCG levels, and he goes, yeah, you're definitely pregnant. And he called me 2 days later, you're definitely pregnant. You're 4 weeks and 2 days. I said, no.
Wow.
Oh, God. You know, I'm not going to, God knows my heart and intention, but I'm not going to say that I was completely excited. I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking I have a 19-year-old who's driving, working, going to school, and now I got to start all over. And then I had a guilty conscience because you know, and this, I'm going to be completely transparent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I made a vow to God that I would not have another baby unless I was married.
Yeah.
So then the shame came, and I'm like, I'm not married.
And the guilt and all of that. Yeah.
And then I honestly thought that my family would be, I guess, shame me a little bit. I don't know why I thought that, but I just felt that way. That they say, oh my God, you're having a baby at, you know, at your age, and, you know, the baby, you know, the baby's grown and you're not married. I don't know why I thought it, but I did.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I told my mother what I felt, because actually I didn't even get to tell her, I went in her bedroom and I just started crying. And she said, what's going on? And then I told her I was pregnant, and she said, why are you crying? And I said, I'm ashamed. And she said, why are you ashamed? You're a great mother. And I said, what? I thought you were going to feel A, B, and C. And she said, why? Why would I think that?
Right.
I don't know. It was just my head.
That you were picking up on the world's perception.
Yeah.
And the judgmental mentalities that are so prevalent in the world we live in.
The very first person that I told was my daughter, because she's like everything. She's my everything. So, I mean, she'll know anyway if something's going on because of the way I carry myself. She just feels the vibe. So when I went to her, again, I thought she's going to be mad because she's been the only child for 19 years. She's going to be jealous. She's going to be like, Mom, why? You know, so when I went to her, again, I was hysterical crying. So she's looking at me like, what's going on? I said, I'm pregnant, you know, and she's like, again, she says to me, why are you crying? I said, oh, God. I said, I'm so sorry. You know, I did this to us. And she's like, Mom, I'm here with you. I'm not going anywhere. She's like, it's fine. I got you. Like, and I was just, I mean, she turned into the mother at that moment. Yeah, she embraced me like a little baby.
And sometimes we need our
my
elder
daughter
daughters.
stepped up, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just getting a little emotional.
No.
She stepped up, and she's still doing it.
And that is so wonderful.
That is wonderful.
Well,
I mean, but you know what? That goes to show.
Thing in you, Velena.
But that goes to also show how she raised her daughter.
Absolutely.
I don't know why I thought she would be any different.
I
don't know.
It's
why,
a blessing when you have someone who is that close to you, who's willing to support you and be there with you and for you.
My
That's a
daughter
blessing.
is like,
See, God knew what you didn't know.
She's extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what else to say. But she's extraordinary, and you know, like I said, she cradled me and kind of pumped me up, and I needed that. And,
okay, we need some tissue.
Yeah.
I know we need to start getting
tissues. Okay, there's
the
a tissue box.
I knew this was gonna happen. I tried my best.
No, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, Velena, you have always been such a genuine, caring, and loving person. And you know what? You're getting exactly what you deserve. You deserve to have people in your life who treat you the way you treat them.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that, you know? And I'm going to tell you, I've been watching you on Facebook from the moment you shared that you were pregnant. You glow.
Yes.
You glow. it's like, I mean, the
Yeah.
glow sometimes smacks me in the face when I see it. You know, I'm like, whoa, I can feel the energy.
Yeah.
You were supposed to have this baby.
Yes.
You know, if not, you wouldn't have.
Definitely.
Just like me, I shared this before, but I had 2 abortions before I had my daughter. When I got pregnant with my daughter, I said, okay, God, you're telling me something now.
Yep.
Look, I'm supposed to have, I was afraid that I didn't have this baby, that something was going to happen. So I knew that I was supposed to have the baby. I was in no better situation than with the first 2.
Yeah.
But somehow I had become stronger. And I think as a mother who loves her children or her child, you find that strength to get beyond where you are. God knows where I was at the time, high school dropout, on public assistance. I just felt I had nothing to offer the child. And I kept praying. And I knew that there was a part of me, I knew I was supposed to have this child, which meant I had to do the right thing. So that meant, okay, what do I have to do? I had to chart out a plan for myself, you know? And so you have your daughter who is there with you and for you. So you can still, don't give up all of Velena.
Yeah.
You know, recognize that there's a part of Velena that now has to show this second child just how fabulous her mother is and how much her mother loves her.
Absolutely.
And how much her mother is able to multitask. Because let me tell you what.
Well, and instill in her. So think about it. I mean, you have an older daughter now, and all the values you instilled in your older daughter, and all the learnings that you've had, the benefit that is to now your baby.
Absolutely.
We speak about that often because my daughter says, "Oh, mommy, we're gonna make sure she's straight," you know, because my daughter, you know, no kid is perfect, but Iana, she's great. She's great, and I haven't had any problems on her. So, you know, even with the respect, everybody's always saying, "Oh, she's so respectful," blah blah blah. So she said, "You know, we gotta get Jaela in check because everybody's figuring because I'm a little, I'll say seasoned. They'll say, "Oh, you gotta let her run you. She's gonna run the house," and I said, "Oh no." Oh no.
She got an older sister who's really gonna put her foot down.
You know, and I don't believe in not disciplining a child. Because I don't want to, you know, you don't want to resent your child, and I don't care about the embarrassment part. I don't want to have her stressing me out.
Absolutely.
And then she gets older, and then she's out of control, and then something goes on because I didn't check her as a mother.
Absolutely.
So that's my fear because I see it going around too much, and there's just no way she's going to be talking back to me and disrespecting me. Like I would never allow it. But
what's the difference? You know, now that you're 19 years, obviously with your eldest, what are the differences, and are you managing the relationship a little differently, or you know, the things you learned when you first had your first baby and now you take that into your second baby? I mean, was there anything different?
the funniest thing is I feel like I'm more paranoid this time around.
Yeah.
So like when she like maybe chokes a little bit, I'm like, ah! You know, my daughter's like, Mom, she's good. She's good. I'm like, get her. You know, and then I'm putting the little hands up and I'm like,
Slapping her on the
and my daughter's like, Mom. But I don't know, when I was 19, I was just as scared.
Yeah.
But I think that things didn't weigh in on me, hone in on me so heavily. Yeah. Right. And I was very scared the first time around. And the funniest thing is I have a lot more support. That's a whole nother story there. But even, you know, Jaela's father, he does good by her as well. He's supportive. He was supportive throughout my whole pregnancy, which was not the case the first time around.
Right.
So that was one of my biggest fears. I said, oh my God, I'm going to do this alone again. But no, he was there for the appointments and all those things. So that meant a lot to me. But this time around, I just feel like I'm more paranoid. I'm just more paranoid.
Oh,
maybe because the world changes too.
That too.
You know?
And then, you know, with the whole situation with the pandemic, that made it worse. Because in my, again, like you said, what we put in our mind, what we feed our mind is what our mind believes.
Right.
So I'm thinking, oh, I had a baby in a pandemic. Like, you know, like my daughter and her, you know, her father wanted to be there at the appointments, and I had to choose which one because it couldn't only be one person. So that was heart-wrenching because the very first appointment, my daughter wanted to be there, but he was there. So of course I'm going to have him go. Then I said, well, he lives a distance. So I said, you'll go to some other ones.
Right.
But just walking through the world, and I mean, I was super extra careful than I was ever before because I'm running around here with a mask on my face.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
was worse. It
We're
was,
already dealing with that.
it was a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for me, this time around, just more paranoid.
Yeah.
That's basically it. I think.
How's your eldest daughter feel about being the big sister?
She loves it.
Oh yeah, I can tell. from the
I mean, those
on
pictures.
Facebook.
I'm like, that's
she
like her
loves
little
it.
baby doll.
She
That's her
loves
child.
it. Oh gosh! But you know what she also says? Funny. She says, she's my baby, but she's also my birth control.
Oh.
Because when she sees what's going on sometimes, I'm like, yeah.
Hello.
And she's like,
Just know.
She's like,
Exactly.
no. And then like when I went through, even when I'm breastfeeding the other day, if you breastfeed, like it gets engorged because her favorite feeding is this side. But I try to balance it out, but I don't do a great job because when I'm tired and she's tired, I'm like, here, just
go
over there.
go.
That's what you want to do because she'll look at this side for whatever reason. She's like, going to the left. But it got engorged really bad. And my daughter saw me massaging myself, and she's like, that looks like it hurts. I said, it hurts real bad. She goes, oh, God, Mom. She's like, you're going to have grandpups, and I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Well, because she's going to be a veterinarian, right? My 17-year-old granddaughter wants to be a veterinarian also. She loves animals.
My daughter
She's
does
not
too.
as loving. I mean, she's a loving, caring person, but she prefers animals to people.
Well, you know what? My daughter does, too.
Probably better off.
She's
loving- yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
She is. She's loving and caring to
Yeah.
people that love and care. Her.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, we always. I mean, honestly, I prefer dogs over people most of the time.
And you know,
Because you know what? No matter what, you can say, "Get away from me! I'm tired." They love you with the same love
They're
every time.
unconditional.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's
Unconditional for
unconditional. That's and that's what you want. That's the kind of people you want to be around.
Mhm.
People who love you unconditionally, who understand. Say like, I'm not perfect, they're not perfect, but we love each other.
They
and
don't
we're just going to be
have-
supportive.
Yeah, they don't have what do they call it? Motives.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? They-
Personal
They
agendas.
don't.
Agendas,
They don't. Yeah.
They're
they
not going to
really
wake
don't.
up and say, "I'm going to do something to hurt her today."
Yeah.
They don't have that capacity
They
to move
absolutely-
that way. So that's
Absolutely.
what makes animals.
And neither do babies.
No, they
And
don't.
neither do babies.
And neither do babies. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
I mean,
Jael is-
they're coming to
man.
a world that, they have all this innocence about them,
Right.
and they just want to be loved and cared for
That's all it
Right.
is.
give love.
Right.
And I tell you what, like when you give it to her, she reciprocates back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
my
wonderful.
daughter, Jael, she's
But that's
a
the way it's
loving
supposed to
little
be.
baby.
Yeah, all throughout our lifetime. And when we get into the midst with people who are not loving, who don't know how to be loving, who are unloving,
It's
even,
sad. I feel
you move
sorry for
away from them. Sometimes we try and help people to be better. But if they don't want to be better, then all it does is drain us
Yeah.
and make us sad, hurt our hearts.
I'm
And
learning to just pray for those type of people.
I
'Cause
I pray and
I have a
turn
lot of energy.
Right.
Like you said, we have to guard our energy. I've done that before, and then they bite me. In,
Oh yeah, but after a while you get enough experience and say, okay, I got this. I
too much.
understand what this is. I know the difference. See, in order to understand people who are unloving, you have to be around people who are loving enough.
So you know the
So,
difference.
so you know
So
the
you know the
difference.
difference.
Mhm.
Experience, people used to say to me, experience, the older people, experience is the best teacher.
Yep.
And I kind of grew up, and even though somebody would tell me, oh, well, don't do this and don't do that, this will happen, or what, I needed to experience it for myself. Now, there's some stuff that they were absolutely right about.
my goodness.
But
I
you know what? Now I know from my own personal experience.
I was that person too.
Mm.
I just had to find out a lot of things the hard way. And my mother, she wouldn't even say, I told you so. She would say, you got it? Yeah, Ma, I got it.
You got it? Yeah, and that's all you have
I
to
was
do.
like,
You got
oh
it.
man. And
You know-
but my daughter is not one of those people. And I think, God, that she's not. She
Right.
allows me to be her mom and to be her guidance. And she doesn't fight me so much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, I was just so stubborn. And she doesn't have that.
She
I
doesn't
think
have
God,
that in her.
God just knew what to equip her with
Exactly.
to make my life easier.
to make your life easier.
Because if she was me, I don't know.
See,
I say to my mother a lot of times, I said, man, Ma, you love me past all that stuff. And that's what a mother does.
yeah.
Oh,
But I
absolutely.
thank her every day still. I said,
Mhm.
man, like when I see what my daughter does versus what I did, I'm like,
Mhm.
dang, like
Yeah.
I did that to you.
But you know what? We learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
learn from
I
those
was a
experiences. And you know what? Being a grandmother who lives in a house with my daughter and my grandchildren, there's a lot of things I learned from raising my daughter
Mhm.
that I would have changed, or done better, shall I say.
Mhm.
But you know what? I didn't know any better. That was my
Right.
first parenting experience.
Right.
And I did the best that I could.
Mhm.
I think if I had to do anything, I would have waited till I was about 30 to have children.
That's what I said.
I was reading this. Let me just read
Just
this
because of the
quickly.
knowledge you attain.
Yeah.
It says, for decades, American women have gradually pushed back the age at which they choose to become parents.
Yeah.
Wise decision.
Mhm.
Now, for the first time, women in their 30s are having more children than those in their 20s, according to the
Mhm.
preliminary data released by the
You in a
Center.
good camp.
Yeah, exactly. You're in a good camp. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, because you know what? I hadn't healed when I had my daughter,
Mm.
but she did help me to heal.
Mm.
But I wish I had known a lot more about what my needs were
Mm.
before I began to try and tend to
Tend
her
to
needs.
her needs. Yeah.
I
That's a
think
big
it would have made me a better mother.
Mhm.
Although I was a A+ mother, I wasn't an A++ mother.
Tiffany
And my daughter's
Look at
rolling her
you.
eyes over there.
I love her. She is a
Oh,
We getting her on here.
Yeah, no, she said, I'm just gonna close my mouth.
But I would say that
nothing.
too, like
Yeah.
in terms of like you said, keeping certain people away.
Mm.
I didn't know of all that at 19 because I had my first one at 19.
Yeah.
So I didn't know all those things that I know now.
Yeah,
So I'm able to guard my space better. I have
Right.
better self-control.
create boundaries.
Correct.
Yeah,
All of that stuff. I didn't know any of it.
Yeah.
Life
None of us.
experiences are going to take you through so many hills and valleys and streams and whatever, because there's so many different personalities in the world. There's so many people that are hurt
Yeah.
or going through their own situations in life.
right.
And I say everybody, a lot of people say this: hurt people, hurt people.
Oh, you took the word.
You know, I
That's what my
mean,
grandmother taught me.
It's just, it's what it is.
It's
And
the
if they
truth.
don't heal, like Mama C, you always tell us, if they're not healing, if
gonna
they're
hurt
not,
you.
they're gonna,
Project it on you.
they're gonna project it on you.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you have to be, and when we think about children, we want to guard them
You
and
have to.
make sure that we teach them
Right.
how to love and be good human beings in
Absolutely.
society and
Absolutely.
so on and so forth. And you concern yourself with the experiences you've had,
Right.
as a person. I mean, you talked about your daughter. You had a daughter at 19, and now
I
you
was a
all
kid.
your life experiences
Yeah.
now, and now you've got a baby.
She taught me how to love unconditionally. I wasn't
Wow.
capable before her. I
Mhm.
know I was very selfish. I mean, as a teenager would be.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
worried about Velena, So
Right.
I like my clothes the same way I do now, but I was just into my Jordans and my shoes. And I remember I was working at the hospital and my checks were nice. So I was like, man, it's all on me, all on me.
Yeah.
And I was very, I guess I'm going to use the word reckless. I didn't do bad things, but I did things that could have went another
Could have
way.
gone
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going to parties and, being around people that were doing stupid things. And I was just so curious because my
Yeah.
mother was tight with me.
Mhm.
So I was curious, but I had put myself in a lot of situations.
Mhm.
I shouldn't be here. And God's grace, has me here. But my daughter, she taught me how to love, how to be patient, how to be kind, even when I'm not feeling kind.
Mhm.
Because, with an innocent baby, you don't want to take out those things on them.
Right.
So even if I felt like I wanted to punch a wall because of her, whatever, I didn't take it out on her. So
Right.
she taught me those things. I didn't know I didn't have self-control like I do.
I think that's the case with a lot of us. And I didn't come from a loving home, but I had a lot of love inside of me. I knew that. I think that once we realize that it's not all about us, once we get that seed planted in our garden, the garden of our souls, we begin to realize, okay, this is no longer about me.
Right.
What is it? It's like my daughter was the reason for my going back and getting my GED and going on to college and going on and excelling in the way that I have. She was my motivation.
Mhm.
And it just kept me growing. And even now, sometimes I'm sitting in my house thinking about the next level.
Right.
What's next? And, I pray every day. I pray before I get up in the morning. I pray when I hit the bed at night. That's my time with God. And, after I pray, I stop and I meditate. because that's the time that God speaks to us when we shut up. When we
Yes.
clear our mind,
Clear our minds
quiet
and
our minds,
quiet.
that's when God speaks to us.
Mhm.
And what happens, I wish I had known when I was younger, what happens is we can pray all we want. But I told people, there are all these written down prayers. That's not praying. That's repetitively doing something that's religion.
That's
Okay?
what it is.
Uh,
I agree.
praying is the time that you actually talk to God. You're
From the
not
heart.
saying
From the heart.
you're from the heart,
The
and
simplest
asking
prayer.
for direction and
Mhm.
and trying to understand what next, or okay, sometimes I'll say, okay, God, what's on my agenda for today? What's on the agenda for the day? And sometimes God will say, absolutely nothing. You need to rest.
Put your leggings on.
Put my
and
leggings
lay-
on.
lay-
And cross them, sit there in front of the TV. I'm watching a new series now that I'm so into,
Oh,
The
boy.
100. But let me tell you something. There's a lot about that show that I'm learning, and I see from my own journey as a woman how we become warrior women
Yeah.
and not realize
Mhm.
that we are warriors. People say, oh, you're strong. But you have to be strong in order to get from chapter to chapter to place in your life.
We have to
Sometimes
go
I
through
think
some
that we
weaknesses.
just,
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
sometimes we just power through and don't even know
Right.
it.
Don't
Or
even know it.
you don't even know you have that strength until you've actually used it.
Had to go
I
through.
had to
Absolutely.
go through something.
Yep.
Because,
Absolutely.
I mean, with Jaela, I had an emergency C-section. I thought I was having a vaginal delivery.
Mhm.
I was 6 centimeters dilated. I was preparing. They were talking to me about getting ready to push. And then she runs in the room with this look again. And I'm like, oh my God, like what's going on?
What's going on? What
It's like,
now?
your baby's heart rate is dropping. We gotta take it
Oh,
now.
wow.
And I'm gonna be honest.
You
I had a
freak.
moment of vanity because I said to myself, man, I'm gonna have a scar.
Mhm.
I'm not even gonna, God knows I did. And I said to myself, darn, And then I said, okay, we got to do it.
Let's
no
do
problem.
this.
I signed my name. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking,
Oh, the bikini.
I went through all of it, but I didn't know
Right,
how
right.
they did it because I never
Yeah.
had one. I was
Right.
never interested in knowing.
Right, right.
All I remembered from back in the day was the staples.
Yeah.
And they had this long thing with
Mhm.
these little crosses.
Yeah.
So in my mind, that's what I was thinking. But I'm saying, oh man, that's selfish. But I did sign it because, of course, anything to have my
Right,
baby
you have
healthy.
to.
So I signed it. But in my mind, I'm thinking I went through my first pregnancy, no stretch marks, no nothing. And now I'm going to have this long, crazy mark. So I became a little bit dispirited, but I went through it as a mother would. She came out and it was sad for me because I was so doped up on medication.
Right.
I couldn't appreciate the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was really hurt, but when they gave her to me, I couldn't even really hold her. Her father held her and put her on the side of me, and I just cried because again I was just grateful to God that she was out
Yeah.
healthy and that I was okay, but I was sad because I couldn't really hold
Really
her.
hold her.
Like with my first daughter, I remember there was like blood all over my hands, and I put her up like a Simba moment on the Lion King, and I'm like, she's mine, she's here, and that's all I kept doing, and I remember that, and I didn't get that moment, so I was like really hurt.
Aw.
And he has it on video because I could say he's a great photographer or videographer too. He got
Okay.
all these special
All
moments.
these special moments.
And I was crying like a baby,
Wow.
because I was sad that I couldn't really embrace her.
Yeah.
And they were doing a lot for me,
Right.
and I didn't like that because as a mother, you just
you want to be able to.
and I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Well, Tiffany had 4 C-sections.
Oh,
I kept saying, oh my God, is she a glutton for punishment or what? At one, I'd have been done.
Well,
When I had
if I
her
would've
like
had
you
a
had
C-section the
yours,
first time, I
that
would've
first
never done
baby,
Yeah.
when I had her, I got, matter of fact, when she came out, I wanted to sit up and get up. No, they said, no,
You gotta
you
sit there.
you got to lay here for a while. So they got me to the room. Once they got me to the room, I'm like, oh, shoot, that was simple. And I could hear women before I gave birth. I could hear women in other rooms screaming.
Oh,
I kept waiting for the screaming and
I
shouting time to
can't.
come. Like, they were scaring the crap out of me.
that would have scared me so bad.
It did scare me, but
Jeez.
it was so easy. And it's funny because on the
You
way to
got
the
lucky with
hospital,
that one,
on the way to the hospital, every time I had what do you call it? I've erased that from my mind. What you call that when you're
Contraction.
well, yeah, every time I had
What?
every time I had, oh God, erase it from my mind when I leave it again, just in case. Every time I had a contraction, I dropped to the floor.
Lord
Even when I got in the
mercy.
elevator at the hospital, I dropped. and just squatted. And they,
Because you was
some of the
feeling-
nurses told me that in some countries, that's how women give birth to they squat and the baby just comes out. But
yeah.
it felt better to be down
Really?
than to be standing. I don't know why, So, I mean,
I was in bed.
having a baby is an experience,
Oh, man.
And then after, I'm in the room, I'm ready to get up and go see my baby,
That's
and all the other women walking around like a Mack truck just hit them. Like, what's wrong with these women?
And all the mothers out there
That's
that ever
hilarious.
felt like back trucks hit them, we understand.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Watching
understand.
Tiffany with 4 C-sections, and I was in the room with the birth of every baby
Man.
coming out of the stomach.
Yeah, I mean, you just.
I'm like,
With
and
the C-section, it's different.
It
Because my
is
daughter, I
totally
felt
different.
like you. I was like all pumped up, and they kept saying, "You better take the baby so you can rest," and I wouldn't let her out myself.
Yeah,
I told
yeah.
her, "Don't touch her."
uh-huh.
And plus, I was scared they were gonna kidnap her. I was-
Uh,
I was. Well, see, for whatever I think, even though morphine is very strong, I think it has a lot to do with your mind too. Because I'm telling you, even during the C-section, I know I was awake for some times because I could hear certain things, and I was
Yeah.
supposed to
Wow.
be asleep. I heard a lot of
Oh
stuff.
no, you're supposed to be awake.
No,
You're
yeah, you're
wide
supposed to be
awake.
awake.
You're not supposed to be
Really?
asleep during the
Yeah,
C-section.
oh no.
Wide
You
awake.
feel
I would
everything.
peek over. Tiffany's wide
No.
awake.
They had the
They had the
I was
thing
out
that-
for a while, and they did have that thing, but I was out for a while.
really.
I was.
Maybe the pain should have old.
They gave me
Hell,
something to make me kind of like relax, but I'm telling you, I was.
She probably
Okay,
fell
yeah.
asleep.
Maybe yeah.
I
She's
was
like,
out.
okay, I'm
But
sleeping.
I
through this.
remember feeling the pressure with no
Yeah,
pain.
yeah.
But I remember I kept saying to the doctor, "Please don't let me die." I just had this. When I
It
go
was-
under anesthesia, I
Yeah.
freak out. So I was like, "Don't let me die. You're not gonna let me die, right?" And he goes, "You're gonna be fine." I said, "You promise?" And then I was telling my daughter's father, I said, "No, don't let him." I said, "Don't let him kill me. Don't let him kill me." So when I got up, I was like, "Oh, I made it." I was like,
So let me ask, at 19, you were like, just let it roll.
I was more because I took
relaxed
Lamont's
and kinda
classes
like
and
whatever.
stuff like that. So I was like, I'm ready. I'm a soldier. I got this, you
Right.
know. And I didn't do much crying. I did a lot more complaining. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this contraction hurts. Like
Yeah.
you know, I was like, when is this going to be over? A lot of complaining. And then I got nervous towards when they told me to put my foot in the stirrups and told me to start pushing. Then I was like, okay, this is like not monkey business. Like it's really, this is wartime.
This is wartime.
But again, I was doing a lot of talking and I was like, man, I got to keep pushing. And they were like, yeah. And then the craziest part is my best friend, Richmond, if you're listening, he was there for my daughter's birth because once again, her father just died. So he was there for everything. And my mother was there front and center. My whole family was, but my mother and my best friend, who his name is Richmond, but he had a mirror so that I could see her head.
Oh.
And so he brings it to me. He's like, look at all that hair. You got to keep pushing. Because I told him I wasn't pushing no more. So he's trying to encourage me. And he cut her umbilical cord and everything. My best friend.
That's awesome.
We were out, I
Richmond,
mean,
we honor you because
Oh,
not a lot of
oh,
men friends would do
No.
that.
Now, the baby's daddies, he was outside.
he left.
He didn't want.
He left the whole
He couldn't. He didn't want to see. He didn't want to go in the room. I
That's
mean,
a
he was
whole
just
nother
screaming.
Oh, yeah, he
so
went
I
to
have to
work.
do that. You know.
He went to work. He literally went to work and he worked in New York City.
Wow.
He left me. He got me there and he left me.
Wow.
This
Wow.
time around with Jaela, her dad was front and center the whole
Yeah.
time. And I mean,
Yeah.
he took really good care of me after the C-section. I stayed there for 5 days.
Wow.
He did everything. And I was embarrassed because I was like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. But, you know, it was so much pain.
Pain
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And I was trying to, like, walk. And it felt like I had to learn how to walk again.
Mm.
And, you know, he went with me to the bathroom. And he did everything that I'm supposed to be doing when I'm in the bathroom. But he did it. And I was embarrassed because you still have, like, your pride and stuff. And I'm like, you can't do that. I was like, get the nurse. He said, no, I'm here for it all. And I'm like, okay.
But that takes a lot for me. You know, I mean,
You saw everything.
it's, I have to say, I mean, you know, for a man to do that,
right.
you know, for a woman, and just see you all in your
I
glory
was jacked up.
in the
Jacked
wedding.
Jacked up. I
In the
mean,
wedding.
there was no glamour in that.
No, trust me. I remember one time Tiffany was trying to get to the couch, fell on the hit the floor. And I'm like, and then she's like, no, don't. We were trying to get her up. She's like, no, don't touch me. Don't,
I know, I can see her doing
don't
that.
touch me. So we had to let her
That's
lay on the
hilarious.
floor until
Yes,
she
you
was
told me.
ready to get up. I'm like,
Yes,
okay,
you
all
told
right.
me.
I'm gonna take care of the baby.
I
All
can
right,
see
you
her
do you.
doing that. That's so funny.
Hey, Terry, how would you do in the delivery room?
Oh, God. about to have grandkids.
I did real well in the delivery.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Did you?
I was there for every step of the moment.
Oh,
Okay,
good for you. Good
all
for you.
right.
See,
That's
that's nice.
All right.
But I mean, so it was. But I mean, I had never felt so ugly. I mean, after C-section, I was a hot mess.
Yeah.
I was a hot mess.
Mm.
And I mean, it's 6 weeks. So I think by the third, fourth week, I was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then I couldn't drive. I couldn't go up and down the stairs,
Yeah.
effectively. So I
Yeah.
just felt like a loser. I was like, man, I can't do this. I couldn't even. When I breastfed my daughter, it's like I had to have something here.
And like almost like those.
Oh,
type
yeah,
things.
Yeah, I had like almost like a waist
Waist
trimmer
trimmer,
thing.
yeah.
It just, I didn't really get to enjoy her the way I did with my daughter at first.
Right.
Mm.
And
right.
it bothered me so bad because
Right.
I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be, just walking around holding her, doing my thing, and I couldn't really do anything but lay in bed. And then I felt numbness on my right side of my
Ooh.
butt cheek. So I was thinking that I was having what do you call it? I guess nerve damage, if you will, pinch nerve.
Pinch
Yeah.
nerve.
But it was scary because I'm like pinching my butt and I'm like, I can't feel
Can't
anything.
feel anything.
But then I'm crying. I'm like, why am I not feeling anything?
Right.
I'm gonna have a damaged nerve,
Oh,
But God to be the glory. I mean, I got it back, but it took a long time. It took months.
From the C-section.
Oh yeah,
And then also
that's
the way
I
the
didn't
you're-
know
process.
that.
It took
Yeah.
Tiffany
They don't
a
tell you
couple
all
months.
of that.
And then a lot of times when you have a C-section, after the baby is born, you feel a little removed from the baby.
See, thank goodness I didn't.
Sometimes you're like Tiffany. Shit.
But I've heard that.
Yeah,
I
she
have
was
heard
like,
Yeah.
she had these babies, but every time because of the C-section,
Just felt a certain.
just felt a certain
It's
way.
the hormones.
Exactly. But I think once you reach that healing point that makes you feel better,
Absolutely.
then you begin to come around.
Yeah.
And it's all a process,
It is.
I mean, and it's different for every woman.
Yeah.
That epidural, was
The
the worst,
epidural,
and I didn't want to take it, but my doctors were encouraging me, and I was
Right.
against it all the way until I did it. But I did it out of fear because they were like, "Oh, your blood pressure, and
Right.
you're gonna feel too much pain, and we're afraid for your blood pressure." So
Right.
they were scaring me. I could have done it without it. I did it,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't even work. I felt the contractions anyway.
Right. Okay.
So I said I
Didn't
should have
even
never,
know.
and they
Yeah.
were pumping it up because I was like, I'm still feeling it, and they were like 11 millimeters, and they kept going, and I still felt a lot of it. So I'm like, I could have went without it.
I
And
think,
then ended up having a C-section.
Hello.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I was so
exactly.
upset.
Yeah.
I think having a baby at a young age and then going through that process and that child is grown,
Mhm.
it prepares you.
Yeah.
It really prepares you. Like there are women who are not having children till their 30s,
Mhm.
but they have no experience.
Yeah.
Okay, and for some of them, it's frightening.
I could understand.
And they become more career oriented, and now they have this child.
Yep.
It's
hard
a
to cope. It
tremendous
is.
mental thing that goes on for a lot of women.
And I think because I had one prior, even though I was more paranoid, it doesn't go away. Like your motherly instincts don't go away.
Right,
So
right.
I knew when to kick in.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I said, hey, well, gotta do it. And
Okay.
even days when she slept through the night, believe it or not, pretty much from the beginning. But then there were some days in between, just sporadically,
Mhm.
that maybe she decided she didn't want to go to bed, and I'm looking at her like,
Go
Jael,
to
come on.
bed.
I'm like, you were great, like, for months. Like, what are you doing now?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, cause Mama needs a beauty rest.
Yeah.
And I was like in tears. I'm like, Tyler, come on, man, don't do this. And even I'm nursing her, and her little eyes are just like,
Wide
and I'm like,
awake.
what are you doing? And my daughter would hear me talking to her, and she's like, just give me her, Mom. She's like, she doesn't understand that. I'm like, I know, but I need some rest.
So what are the benefits? So there's a benefit, obviously, a pro to having an adult child and a baby. So kind of talk to that because, obviously with having them 19 years apart, honey,
The thing
you
is,
got she's got a big sister, but
Yeah.
you've got a lot of help with that.
and I do. And the thing is, she has two other sisters.
Mm-hmm.
One is 16 and one is 15.
Mm-hmm.
They don't live in the same household, so they don't get the opportunity to be there as much.
Right.
But essentially, she has even them. But my daughter's in the house with me, so
Right.
it's like when she tries not to let me get to the point where she hears I'm frustrated, she'll pop in and she'll say, "Ma, just give it to me, just give it to me," because she can tell when I'm
Right,
getting like.
right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'll be like, I'm tired, my back hurts, and Jaela's climbing all over me now because she's 9 months. She's like, "Ma, just give it to me." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." But I tried not to ask her too much because I don't want her to think you're a built-in babysitter, you're
Right.
obligated.
Right.
And I
right.
say this to her a lot, and I've
Right.
broken down crying to her saying, I just want to thank you
Mhm.
for everything that you do, and I don't want you to feel obligated. She goes, "Oh, Mom, no, that's my job. That's what I'm here for. Don't feel that way." But I still feel that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
right.
she's 20.
Yeah.
So I said, if you want to go somewhere or you have something to do, don't worry about me. I'll manage. Well, I tell you what, she put that to the test when she went to Mexico for a week.
Oh.
And I left me with not only Jaela, but Bella and Bina, whom she walks 3 times a day.
Oh my
Well, y'all know she
God.
didn't get walked. They didn't get walked 3
3
times.
times. I was about to say.
Oh,
They got one big walk for an hour or 2.
And
I
that
put
was it.
Jaela in the stroller and I took those 2 dogs to the park. And I did the
Run
best
them.
I could do.
Uh-huh.
But I had a new appreciation for my daughter. Because I'm
Mhm.
like, you take them out 2 or 3 times a day.
Oh,
Wow.
And Bina is a puppy herself. Because the funny part is, I didn't know Jaela was even in existence. And we got her in February.
Oh, wow.
No, excuse me, in April. I found out I was pregnant in June. Bina
Wow.
was 2 months.
So you had
So
baby
you
and
had a
baby.
baby and baby.
And Bina cries the same way. She wants the same attention. It's crazy.
Oh
I'm like,
my
oh my
God.
God. And we're
You know-
laughing. It's just crazy.
When my grandchildren all got to, when the youngest got to the, she's 13 now. When they got to the age where they were taking care of it, like the 2 who were working, they and even my oldest granddaughter, who now lives on her own with some, she and her friends have a place, and she'll even take the girls for a night or a couple of nights. So I'm like, wow,
That's
okay.
awesome.
So it gives me that break that I didn't have for a long time. And then when the 2 animals came in the house, I was ready to move into the park or move into the forest with the deer, because I was like, I wanted nothing that pooped, cried, or got in my way in my life at that point. and so here they come. And then when I fell down the steps, because Rocky left one of his toys on the steps, I was done. I was ready to show him the door, okay? I'm still trying to get over the pain that hit me. One leg went straight out, the other leg went straight back, and my booty hit the.
And you got to remember how much you love Rocky.
Oh my God!
I know,
I just
right?
have to kind of remember.
It's not easy.
It's not
I
easy.
step on Bina's toys. And like you said, I almost fell over her and I screamed at my daughter, and it came out bad because I was holding back. I said, "Get this little runt." I said, "I'm a herder.
You know,
And I didn't mean
you
it.
lose
I
your
love her, but I
patience
said I could have tripped with the babies.
I was through with everybody in my house when I hit that floor. I was through with everybody in my house, and I was gonna pack my stuff.
That
put
was
it
that
in my
moment
car.
of
That was that
anger.
moment.
I
Because
bet
at
it
my
was,
age,
but that
a
hurts.
fall
It's a fall.
can really be a problem.
Oh my God.
But I'm still working to get over
You
it.
still love Rocky?
I still love Rocky. And Rocky, let me tell you, his name comes from my oldest brother who died not long. Actually, he died about 6 months before he got his degree in engineering. He was brilliant. But when he came back from Vietnam, he was addicted to drugs. So he died in his place where he was living, all by himself. And so when we were trying to come up with a name for Rocky, I said, how about Rocky? I don't know. My brother just popped in my head, and I thought that was a cute name. But my brother's name was Aaron, but everybody called him Rock because my uncle nicknamed him Rock because he said he had a head like a rock.
Mercy.
So we called him Rocky. So I think as parents, as members of a family, so much goes on in that process, and I think the fact that you have your daughter and you have experience now being a mother in your 30s, 30 plus. we ain't gonna ask you what that plus is. Ain't telling, okay?
Yeah.
I think that makes a big difference. You have a jump on women who are having their first child in their 30s. You know, because it can be.
Because even though we haven't the experience, it's still pretty frightening.
Oh yeah.
But I manage, and my daughter is like the calm to my storm.
Oh yeah.
So when I get all crazy, she's like, "Mom, it's okay. She's fine. She's fine." The other night, And I mean, as a mother, it just hurts. I mean, but I have a headboard with a mirror.
Right.
And so Jaella loves to see herself in the mirror.
In the mirror.
But it's on the headboard.
Uh,
And it's not really safe unless I'm holding her and paying
Right,
attention.
right.
right.
So she always wants to go to my headboard. So I put a cover over the mirror thinking she won't go over there. I wasn't asleep or anything, but I'm telling you, it must have been a few seconds. I had her like this, and I don't know. She went, and the mirror wasn't even visible, but she knew where the mirror was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
She's
smart.
so smart.
That's
so it's
smart.
not out of sight, out of mind, because that doesn't apply to her anymore.
Oh, it doesn't.
Maybe 4 months ago, but not now.
Yeah.
She's smart. She knows.
So
exactly.
she goes over there, and then she's trying to, because she's holding herself up on anything to stand up. And she does that, and I don't normally do anything. I just hold her from the back. I
Right.
had one hand on her. I think I was probably looking at my phone just for a second, and she hit her head on the headboard. Thank God there was some cushioning,
Right.
but she still ended up with a little
Little
look, child
yeah.
services, don't come for me.
Look,
Tell me
It
what
was a
parent
mistake,
didn't.
and she's okay.
look, the stuff like that happens.
But
Yes, it does. I fell in the middle of the street with Tiffany.
It wasn't like you took her and
But I'm telling you, when
yeah.
it happened,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, that-
traumatized.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. It
I
traumatized.
didn't get hysterical because I didn't want to scare her, because she did cry. But I noticed if I go, oh,
The
then
show
she's
took
worse.
her.
So
Yeah.
I immediately comforted her. But
Right.
she, and then she's very light. So it was right there. And I'm like, yeah, they look at her head. Oh my God. I said, I'm the worst mother. She said, Mom, it happens. Don't
Yeah.
say
Oh, it
that.
sure
I
does.
said, I'm supposed to watch her. And I'm yelling at anybody else, like, you'll never get my child because nobody's going to take care of her like me.
Oh, my God.
And then she had this mark, and I was like, oh my God, Lord, please let it go away. So it's gone now.
Oh,
It's been
yeah.
like 2 days, but I was flipping out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So now I put another Sherpa blanket over it, and she's not getting through that.
Right.
She's like, I learned even with the second
That's
child.
But
right.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
my
There are
God,
lessons to be
she's
learned.
so busy. And
Yeah.
I thought I had it covered by the one little sheet, but man, I mean, she's nonstop. So
Oh yeah. Oh,
at
yeah.
times I feel like Superwoman at times, and then at the other times I'm like, I don't even think it has anything to do with being 30 plus. I just feel drained.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where am I going to get this energy, Lord? And then that's when my daughter steps in.
Steps in.
And I don't say nothing to her. She
Yeah,
just
she just
knows.
knows.
She's
She
like, here,
knows.
Mom. She's like, go lay down. Or my favorite place now is the shower.
A
Hello.
lot of women.
Hello.
I
Let
play
me
my
tell you.
music and I sing my heart out in the shower. I think I get, before when she was first born, till probably 4 months, I think I get 2 or 3 songs in
Mhm.
before she's crying. But now that she's a little bit older, my daughter, she's been good with her, but I didn't even trust to be gone
Mhm.
15, 20 minutes, because my daughter, 20 or not, I didn't want to have anybody that responsible for her.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
tell my daughter, just give me 10 minutes, I'll be right out.
Mhm.
So, but now I can get through about 5 songs.
Mm.
And I'm confident because I'm listening. The shower door is still open.
Right.
So you better go
She
through
says, I'm still
the.
listening.
But I
I
go
can't
through a
go to the
playlist.
bathroom by myself phase, because I remember my grandchildren.
I was scared.
They would all when they were little. Here they come. I'm like, can I use the bathroom, please? I'll be right out.
Yeah.
Now I have a dog and a cat to do that.
That is
Like,
true. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's
They
what
come.
they do.
They act just like little people.
But
you know.
I'm at the point now where I've always trusted my daughter, but again, just me being paranoid, I wouldn't let her have her too long. Not even, I'll say 20 minutes.
Mm.
Then I'll say, yeah, I'll take her back. Because I don't know, I'm just looking at it, and she's holding her right and everything, but I'm just like, I'll take her. But now I can go in there and like I said, I get through half a playlist or maybe the whole playlist, and then till the water gets cold, and I know she's okay. Because my daughter is equipped. I mean, she's great with her, but I mean,
She's
it
gonna
took
be a
a
good
long.
mother,
Yeah,
huh?
she's gonna be, and I hope that's a long time from now. I want her to
That's
live her
right.
life and
Yeah.
travel and do all that stuff. But I mean, I have a new appreciation for her. Like I said, when she went to Mexico, I'm like, I brought the whole bassinet in the bathroom, but I had to shower.
Oh, that's what you got to do.
I
I mean, it's
Oh, the entire bassinet was in there, and I'm like, and then again, like you said, Bina and Bella was on the side of the
on the
bassinet.
side of.
I said, I can't do anything.
You can't do anything. Let me tell you.
They're probably overprotective over
They
her
are.
as well,
They
right?
sleep under the bassinet.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I think that's really cute and special. But woo! It's just it's a lot.
job. It's
It's a lot. And like I said, some days I feel so empowered, and I'm like, I got this, and she makes me feel even younger. And other days I'm like, wow.
Like, oh my God,
Holy
I'm feeling
moly.
this.
And I said, no doctor again will ever tell me that I can't get pregnant.
Well, you know what?
Because it happened in a month.
you can now say officially, like I do all the time, I'm too busy to grow old, get sick, or die.
Yeah, because you got
I-
you still got
Man.
18 years still.
Yeah.
You got 18 years, yeah.
And plus, because even though my daughter's 20, and I'm very proud of her, she did things in her time,
Mhm.
but she acquired a license during the pandemic and stuff like that.
Right,
And you know what? Me pregnant, I was still taking her out driving and
right.
stuff like that. Pregnant, and she didn't think I would. She was
Right.
like, "Are you sure? Because I know you're tired." I said, "No." I said, and I wanted her to always know that just because a new baby's coming, you don't get put on the back
You
burner.
don't get put on the
Yeah.
back.
I'm
burner.
still going to
Exactly.
be attentive to you, and that's what I wanted her to know. So I powered through even the days I wasn't feeling well. I said, "Let's go on the road, get on that highway. You're going to get your license."
Oh, absolutely.
And when she got it, she cried, and she said, "Mom, thanks for being there for me and putting in the time." When I said, "No, you'll always get that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want you to think, all the attention's going to go on her. A lot of it is right now, yeah, obviously.
Right.
But
right.
I'm still your mother too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come and talk to me, because even she's in college, she's coming to me with homework."
Well, you see, once they get to that college phase, I say that last year in high school on into college, that's a whole nother
That's a
chapter.
lot.
It's another
Yeah.
chapter.
Because she's coming to me sometimes with homework, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes in my head I'm like, why doesn't she understand? Like, is she paying attention? But I don't want to come at her like that.
Right,
I
right.
say I'm still her mother, and thank
Right.
God I have the wisdom, because I'm
Right.
a college graduate, so I remember certain things. Or if I don't, I YouTube it and then I get back to her,
Right.
or I'll do some practice exercises. But in any rate, she has 100 in all classes.
Good.
Good for her.
And
Good.
I have something to do with that, so I will take some credit because I study with her, and
Oh,
we
and we
got
have
a
a
caller.
caller.
Okay.
Hello. This is the sistership. Hey,
Hi,
Jay.
Jay.
Hi, oh, that's Miss Gigliardo. Hi.
Good.
We're good. We're good.
Y'all look so beautiful today, I gotta say first.
Thank you, babe. Thank
Miss
you.
Velena, she made sure to look. She said, "I'm a mother, but I'm coming up in here strong."
Exactly.
I'm always in sweats
She
and joggers.
she looks gorgeous.
I told her, I said, when I looked at her, I said, well, maybe we should
Need to
move
go
the
back
show
home.
to 3:00, and I need to go home and change because I had to run my grandson to work this morning, then off to Walmart to finish grocery shopping for Thanksgiving. I'm like, this is it for the day. Okay, this is it. All right, my leggings and my black top.
Oh man, how you doing, Jane?
Say, I love this subject because I think, being a queenager as I am, I really do feel that, our children, they go from one stage to the next. And I think sometimes they look at us, I know my children look at me and go, how did this woman ever raise me and I live?
Hello.
But I think, to just piggyback on some of the things you've been talking about, having an older child and then giving birth to a younger child, I do feel like our children go into stages, right? Like there's a certain time they absolutely need us, and then they get a little older and they need us a little less. And then when they get older, they feel they don't need us at all. And I can tell you from my own experience, my oldest son's going to be 50. They always come back to that needing you as they start to experience life.
Oh yeah.
Marriage, children, job challenges, and stuff like that. And then they always come back to you for adult advice, where you sit across the table and talk about taxes and income and the subject matter is different. So I just wanted to say, I think, I know the children, as we raise them, there's different stages of what they need us for.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a different need, but it's still a need.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they always do need you. My mom, God rest her soul, has been dead 21 years, and I can tell you there are still moments when things go out of my life, and I'm like, oh my God, I just wish my mom was here, So I think it's, there's always that need. Our children always have that yearning of need for a mom.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Jane. And you know what? And when I listen to those of you who talk about your mother and having that experience, I didn't have that kind of experience with my mother because she was mentally ill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm like, okay, God, I believe in, first of all, I believe in reincarnation. So I said, okay, God, my next life, I want a loving, caring mother that I can turn to, cry on her shoulder. I've always had to be strong.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have any choice. And I love to hear people talk about the relationship with their mom.
Yeah.
Because it really, I'm like, okay, maybe in my next life I can have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different.
You know, my mom, I mean, those of you that know my story, read my book, you know, my mom was an addict, and so it wasn't always an easy life with her. But
Right.
as she got older and away from the addiction, you know, she was still my mom.
Right.
I mean, my father was a pastor, and I took care of him until he died.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Because it's the godly thing to do.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
is,
But
absolutely.
his sins, the things he did on this earth, he's got to answer to, not me.
Yeah.
So when I go before my maker and, you know, I want to try to have done the things that should be done right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, she's a great
You know,
person.
getting back to the kid thing, I think, you know, we all do the best we can.
Oh,
Did we lose her?
no, I think her phone is going in and out.
As well, and, you know, we do the best we can, right? I mean,
That's it.
Even though we can look back in hindsight, and go, oh shit, man, I really screwed myself.
Oh, dude.
Jane, I'll have a Snickers to that.
Oh gosh, I'm done.
We're about to have a drink to that
Yeah,
one.
hello. Where's the wine?
I mean, thank you all for sharing and always being so open on the shows. I truly love it. And any listeners listening, call in, give us your thoughts.
Yes.
I'd love to hear from you. You know, it's a great way to share and
Yeah.
to help us future shows. So, you know, subjects that you may want to talk about.
Absolutely.
Oh, somebody got a
Call
puppy.
in. Thank you all.
Thank
so
you.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Love you,
Jane.
Jane.
Appreciate you. And for anybody who is,
Thank you.
have a good one. For anybody who's interested in calling in, and actually, if you are a mother, even a father,
Yeah.
who has had a large space of time between children, because I actually do know one of my husband's friends had a child.
Oh, here we go.
it. All
Yep,
right.
someone's calling in.
888-304-4401. Go ahead and call in. Hello, this is the sistership.
Hello, ladies. Kalima, how are you?
Lady
Hey,
K,
Kalima.
how are you?
I am good. It was funny because I was looking at the host on our work home. I said, I don't want to interrupt the flow is so good. And then James wrote the call. I said, let me go.
Go ahead, girl. We good.
I really want to take you back on what so sharing my thing. I can definitely relate to each of your experience. So right now I have a son that's in college, and my youngest is 6 years old.
Mm.
And I never thought it would be that way because I actually thought I couldn't have no more kids.
Mm.
When my oldest sister, I think I was 13 when my youngest came, and me and my ex-husband had a hard time having kids. We have multiple miscarriages, so I really and my son came in the midst of him and I splitting. I'm like, oh Lord,
Wow.
Wow.
And no, I don't want this. I don't want to be a single mother again. But I have to say, that little one, he was supposed to be here. Because when I say God, because no one who knows me, when I said God looked at my face on my face and put on him,
Oh,
anyway.
that's wonderful.
Yes, he is your mini you. That's for sure.
Now I'm gonna have to
Uh-huh.
look.
That's
see
oh
what he
yeah,
looks
you
like.
gotta see. Yeah. Cool.
Because when I was pregnant, I prayed, God, give me a mini me. So you have to give him the prayer. That's exactly what he gave me.
Oh my God.
Gave you what you asked for.
Right. He touched me. But I have to say this, lady, he has took my motherhood to a whole nother level.
Mm.
Because we have this amazing bond connection. And, you know, I'm at the place where, you know, I listen to him and what he tells me and how he expresses himself to me. Because I realize some of the things that I do with my oldest, you know, I didn't get to experience that with before. But I feel like I had a chance to correct myself for the things that I did experience.
Mhm.
That's so
Experience with the little one, and that even kind of made the relationship with the older one even better, because now I'm literally understanding what she's saying to me, and I just want to, just tell the mother, every time your mother does not mean you can't listen to your children.
Yeah.
And I know
That's
sometimes you have the incorrect reason, but I kind of feel like, my children gave me a way just to read on what motherhood is really all about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, that 6-year-old come out of nowhere, it was a learning experience for me. And I just had the opportunity to correct myself.
That's beautiful.
And this, thank you, Lady K. I mean,
That's
that's
beautiful.
it's interesting because I started thinking about. I mean, right now she's 9 months, right? Just think about in a couple years as she starts becoming the personality. She's probably already got.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah,
has
sounds
it.
like she
She's
has
definitely
that
my child.
So Lady K can already tell you. I mean, you're talking 6-year-olds to your son is what, 18, 19? How old is he now? 19. He just had a birthday, right? Recently? Yeah, okay, I remember.
Oh,
that.
look at you.
Okay,
She's
I remember
on
that.
point.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Be on it.
But you think about it now. That's a 13-year gap. See,
Yeah, she's
I don't
almost
need
the same.
college to say 19 minus 6 is 13. Okay.
Mhm.
But I say this to
Exactly.
say because you now have a whole nother experience, Velena, that you got to go with your baby that's going to be grown, and your daughter's going to be in her 20s, and then
Mhm.
you talk 6 years old in another 6 years. It's a whole nother experience.
I could speak this into existence. I know that Jaela is going to be a little bit more fiery, but it's
Yeah.
going to be a positive fiery.
Mhm.
But she's already outspoken.
Yeah.
She's very loud, like I am too.
Thank you. So,
We got another
we got
call.
calls coming in. Hello, this is Sistership. Who do we have on? Hello?
Hi, ladies. It's Marcy.
Marcy.
Hi, Marcy.
How are you?
We are all good. I just wanted to mention that when I brought my 3, everything is fine. Thank God. My physical therapy is helping my knee.
Good.
Good
Sooner or
to hear.
later, I'll be running.
I hear you.
Oh, we know you will.
Mention that when my girls were 10 and 12, I brought home through adoption 3 infants and toddlers.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow.
So my 10 children go anywhere from the age of 16 all the way up to 48,
Wow.
46.
Now those are some age gaps right
Oh,
there.
Holy cow.
Marcy, I know you have much
Yes.
to talk
Wow.
about with respect to raising children, and all of them are
Right.
beautiful human beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's even better.
Marcy, God bless you. We know, I mean, last week we had the adoption and foster care
Right.
show. Thank you so much for your insights on that. I mean, wonderful, wonderful person. For anybody
I can't even.
who doesn't know Marcy, she's one of our queenagers on the Sistership Network, and we appreciate her insights and how she gives.
She's got to be quite fabulous.
Oh,
she
yes,
is.
she is. Let me tell you. Because after Taylor hit 13, I'm like, I'm done.
Just the age difference just seems to help each of the children continue to grow. The older ones and the younger ones, because they all learn from each other.
I was going to say
Absolutely.
that's exactly where and that's gonna be the case.
And that's
Right,
what's
with
going
you.
on right now. at
Right,
this
and I
moment.
concur
She's-
with that,
yeah.
Marcy, because my 4 grandchildren, they once they got to a certain point, they all started learning from each other. And they take the 3 that are working, the older one who's out on her own now, and the other 2, they do for the one that's not too young, who's too young to work
That's so
yet.
sweet.
And they share, and it's just a beautiful relationship, because now I can sit back and just watch them,
Yeah.
watch them grow the rest of the
You just
time,
need like
because I don't,
micromanaging. That's it.
I don't have to do that anymore, and that's a beautiful thing.
That's wonderful.
Marcy, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. And you're right. I mean, those experiences are awesome.
Hugs and kisses to
be
you.
well. Be well. And again, anybody who has an experience, more than welcome to call in. We've probably got another 10, 15 minutes to get some calls in. 888-304-4401. Talk to us about your experience. So I was going back to my husband, one of his good friends, very good friends up in Rochester, New York. Manly, if you're listening, I'm talking about you. But him and his ex-wife, she had a child,
Right.
and he raised her.
Oh,
She's an adult now.
Right.
She has her own baby. He's a granddaddy.
all right.
He ended up getting involved with someone. They had split up, whatever, divorced, and years later met someone, and now has a son. And he's a retired man
Whoa.
with the grandchild.
Lord have
Whoa.
mercy.
So so
That's
I.
deep.
It's, so when we
That's
think about children, I mean, yeah, we talk about the women because those experiences are somewhat different
Right.
from so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
But when we talk from a man's experience, and I mean, he's takes him to the bus stop, and that's my boy,
Wow,
little
yeah.
MJ,
Yeah.
that's so I love hearing about his relationship now with his son.
That's right.
How old
and
is
his
the son?
He's like 7,
Yeah, 'cause he's
8,
going-
Wow.
9,
And then he
I
has
don't even-
grandchildren.
And then he has grandchildren who are younger than his son. So just
Oh my
imagine.
God.
So don't ask me what that experience is like.
That's
But,
hilarious.
but
Boy.
I love to see, like, if you still have the passion and the will, and God puts a child in your life,
Mhm.
regardless of the age differences
It
I
Or
does-
the
agree with-
circumstance.
or the
doesn't
circumstance.
matter.
I agree with Marcy. I'm like, that actually, if that happens, I mean, children do learn from each
They
other,
do.
right?
Yes, they do.
I have 3 sisters. Now, my youngest is 9 years younger than me.
Okay.
But, we all were pretty much back to back. Oh, man, we got some
We got a
experience.
call
folks.
on.
Hello.
We're
We're
gonna
going
call
to call it. Hello, this is the sistership. Who do we have on?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Hello, you're on the sistership.
Hello.
Oh, I'll go.
Yeah.
Call him back again.
It's
Yeah.
the same person.
Hello, you're on the sistership.
Hi. I'm trying to call in. Let me try again. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Bargain.
Yes,
All right. So I agree with Marcy in the fact that children, they learn from one
Of
another,
course
and
they
I'm
do.
just thinking about your daughter.
Well, I think Jaela,
She's
and I know
trying
I'm
to-
not just saying this because she's my daughter, but she's a lot more advanced because
Yeah.
she watches everything.
Hello.
My daughter does.
Hello, this is the sistership.
How are you?
Good. How are you? We got you back on. Who's calling?
This is Lydia.
Hi, Nydia. Nydia!
It
She's
took her a
calling.
hot second.
She's calling.
Don't tell nobody it's me.
Oh, Nydia. She's another one with long range age range of children.
Beautiful Velena.
Oh, thank you.
Stories are different, but they're the same. I have 2 kids, 17 years apart. And Lord, baby Jesus, I thank the man above. I don't know how I did it. But the funny thing is now, I'm 48 with a 23-year-old and a 6-year-old complaining that it happened too fast.
Hilarious.
Wow.
She's 6.
She's 6 years old. Yeah, she's.
I keep watching Velena's baby pictures and I'm like, I want it to be that little again.
Yeah, I'm even sad that she's 9 months so fast.
Growing
This
fast.
is quick.
Just soak in every moment
I'm
because,
trying.
I mean, we had the same stories. We had our first child, and then we went and had a second one later.
Mm-hmm.
And I was afraid just because you guys know I have a gazillion health issues and there was a lot of odds against me, but I was raised by a woman born in the 40s who made my faith in God just one of the biggest things in my life. And something told me if you're going to have this child at 42, a woman who wasn't supposed to ever get pregnant again, it's for a reason. And she's the best blessing that I could have ever had in the second child
Wow.
of my life. And
Yeah.
I love my baby.
I know you do. I know
Hello.
you do.
Hello.
But it's funny, Nydia, because I remember. I mean, I see your pictures, and you talk about your little one. I mean, 6 years old now. Wow, I can't even believe she's already 6. But you share your experiences, and what do you see? I mean, because now you have about 6 years in the mix, right, with the little one.
Yeah.
With your oldest, how is that relationship with your 6-year-old?
He's her best friend.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is so sweet.
They they have the most beautiful relationship, and I thank God. Like my biggest fear is God forbid anything ever happens to me.
Yeah.
He straight up tells me now it's Mr. Grown Self, because you know he has his own place and home for him
Oh
as a grown man.
gosh.
You don't ever have to worry. Yeah, he tells me, he goes, Mom, I know your biggest fear is God forbid something happens to you. Trust me, you don't ever have to worry, because she's not gonna need anything.
Oh Jesus, God
Right.
bless him.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
That is
wonderful when you have that kind of
Absolutely.
connection
Yeah.
and that kind of support.
That
I mean,
is.
you can't pay
No.
can't pay someone for that kind of
No.
support because it comes genuinely from your heart.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's beautiful as a parent. Like I'm like, Lord, if I did anything right, it was raising this boy. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
And
my
you're a
daughter's
good
the same
mommy.
thing.
yourself as a parent. You
Right.
know? So even know who I'm talking about.
I do.
You know, sometimes when you question yourself, like, am I doing this right?
I always say my daughters are my best accomplishment, because if there's anything not right with me, I did something right. Because
Mm.
Yanni shows me.
Like I see him now, and it's like, oh Lord, thank you.
That's so sweet.
Well, when is she ready for
Lydia,
Rocky
you
and
did
Gizmo?
well with your son. He's doing well for himself, and you know you got a little one
That
who's
is
got
so
a great role model
He said it's her best
and
friend.
an amazing
I love
mom.
it.
Exactly.
With all the challenges that you've been through health wise, and you're still going, and God is on your side, and you know I
That's all
commend you.
need.
I respect you because I see her journey.
Right.
Just like I see Velena's journey, and it really warms my heart to
Mhm.
see,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have children of my own. I'm watching you guys grow with babies, you know, having
You can
babies.
babysit, don't worry.
Now everybody, I say I didn't open that up for babysitting.
I'm trying to send Rocky and Gizmo over to your house. So when she ready?
They'll be all right, because I got two
Oh
of them.
Lord, let me tell you.
My best friend has no children. She's mine. She has no children.
Mhm.
But this little girl,
Oh, that's our baby. That's our baby.
That's so
That's
Yeah.
our baby.
yeah.
And you know, you have a
she
big
doesn't
support
come by
system.
a lot. We don't see each other a lot because you know who's living it right. But when my best friend knocks,
Yeah.
rings that doorbell. All I have to say is, Auntie Carol, that little girl flies down the stairs.
Wow, wow. And it's beautiful because, you know, with me and my daughter, it was just pretty much the two of us.
Yeah.
I have a sister
Yeah.
who would send toys and
Thank you,
send things.
Lydia. I was going to call you Velena. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling in. I
Thank
was
you,
hoping you
Lydia.
would.
Yeah.
Love you.
But there's nothing like the love we give,
Yeah.
the support we give.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not about the things we give,
It's never
but
about
the love we give.
Oh, she called.
What's your call back?
It's never about
It's,
material.
no.
Kids don't even remember that.
They don't even remember.
I always say that.
My phone call dropped.
No, that's all right. I was saying thank you, Nydia. Thank you for calling in. I think we might have asked. We might have.
I was like, she's trying to hang up on me. I'm like, click.
No, we good, Nydia.
Thank you for letting me call in.
Oh, we're so
Absolutely.
glad you did.
Together. We need like a Mama's Day, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Aw, that would be great.
Yeah, you got to come to Pennsylvania.
Love
Just
ya.
saying.
Just saying, huh?
Yo, y'all better stop playing with me. Let me tell you, if Mom's make us find a job where you can work from home, I'd be in PA.
I know,
Hello.
I know.
Hello.
Nydia, take care of yourself, honey. We'll talk soon.
I love you.
Love you guys.
Love you
Okay,
too.
love you too.
All right. Yeah, she's.
But you're right. I always say that too, because like even now, like, you know, I was able to take a few vacations this summer with my daughters,
Mhm.
and it's not money, it's the time.
It's
Right.
the time and the thing,
And I know
the love
that,
you give.
and I know that people are busy making a living. I'm not telling anybody not to make a living, and that
Right.
your bills are not important, because we
Right.
have to pay bills. That's
Absolutely.
given.
Absolutely.
But times like this, and
Yeah.
my daughter's 9 months now, and I'm like, wow. And I don't have to ask myself that I put in enough time, because I know that I have.
Yeah.
Right.
And with my daughter, 20, I don't have to say that, because I know that I have.
Yeah,
She has
absolutely.
tons of memories.
Yeah.
The park, whatever it is, but she has memories.
And that's so important
It
for
is.
kids because, again, they're not going to remember the things
They're
you
not.
gave them. They're not going to remember how much money you had.
They
and
don't
you gave
know.
them.
They don't
It
know.
is the quality of the
The time
time
that's
you
spent with
give
them.
and
Mhm.
spend with them.
If
You know?
this year hasn't taught me anything, or just, I'll say reminded me, because I was always a person that valued time because of my mother. But if this year hasn't reminded me of anything, it's time.
Yeah.
Time and love.
Absolutely.
Show lots of love and make every time, maximize every moment that you got. And you know, with that being said, Jaela, I can't even imagine my life without her. She's my second biggest blessing. I love her so much. And when I wake up in the morning, because she does sleep in my bed, I want her in the bed with me. It's like comforting.
That was like Tiffany.
And then we breastfeed it, so I'm like, here, take it. You know, it's a lot easier than getting up and shaking the bottle.
Bottles, yeah.
I know my milk is warm. But when she wakes up, she looks at me and she gives me the biggest smile. And this is every morning. She never wakes up crying. She wakes up and she gives me this smile, and she has dimples. And the funny thing is, both of my daughters have dimples. Neither one of their dads have dimples. My middle sister has dimples. My father and my mother don't have dimples. My grandparents didn't have dimples. So we're trying to figure out where these dimples
are coming from. Yeah.
But he is the father. But I don't have no dimples.
We're not about to do that show.
No. That's another show.
I'm 100,000%. But really, I mean, this is what I see, these little dimples, and she has 4 teeth now, and that's what I see.
And let me tell you,
she's
is
adorable.
his mini me.
Oh, yeah.
She has
This show's over.
Yes, she
Oh
is.
my God. I look at that child, I say,
Well, she
God
does have
Almighty,
my
she
forehead, my nose, and my lips. So all you see
okay,
is
I'm going back
Let me
and look
tell you
again.
something.
I see him every time I
look
see
at her again.
Let
Okay.
me tell you, all I know is that she's the cutest little
She
button
is
on
cute.
social media, because I look at her and I'm like, she's adorable.
Uh-huh.
She really
she
is.
She definitely looks like him and
She
looks like
does.
me.
Looks exactly like
she's
him.
definitely
she
a
really
mix of
does,
you.
and you gotta see her. In
Okay, I got to go back and look at
She's
her
a
again.
mix of us.
But every time I see that picture,
She does have a
when,
nose.
when she first was born, and I'm not saying this to be a hater, because I mean it's fine because she's cute, she's beautiful, but she does look more like me than when she was born.
Okay.
Because her eyes were really like
Chinky.
this. Now they're like a lot more
They're
open.
open
His
enough.
eyes are like this.
His eyes are cheeky. Yeah.
So she's emerging.
Yeah, she does.
She's
emerging.
emerging. So I think she's the perfect mix of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
look at my baby pictures and put them against her baby pictures.
I did see what you just
Yeah, when you
posted
put
there,
that
right?
too,
I was
yeah.
like, oh yeah.
So she does look like me,
Uh-huh.
but she looks like him too.
Yeah.
So it's a mix. But in the beginning, it was all him.
Look, she's an
it's all
adorable
good, though.
girl. She's an
Okay.
adorable little girl.
Okay.
Let me ask this. I know you were just getting into kind of like all the like what are your final words? What do you want to say to people who have children that are so far apart in age? Like what are your
Embrace it.
Embrace
it.
Mhm.
You know, your kids are going to embrace their sibling regardless. They're going to love them.
Mhm.
And I mean, I just take it as a new journey. The things that I say, oh, I miss when I could do that. Now I could do that again with Jaela. So the Easter egg hunts and all that stuff, I get to do it
Right.
again. So that's
Do
how
you
I
think
look
you're
at it.
missing anything now that you're older and feel like, sometimes we get to a point in life where like, oh, we don't want to have to take it to, I want to just be, do my own thing, right?
Yeah,
I'm an
yeah.
adult now. I want to enjoy myself.
I think naturally,
Yeah.
I'm a nurturer. I know naturally I'm a
You're
nurturer.
a nurturer,
Mhm.
yes.
So I'm enjoying this. And I feel like this is what I needed
Right.
because I was missing something. I was
Yeah.
missing Jaela.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still chasing my career, but she's going to be there for all that.
Your light
And I'll show her.
started shining so brightly
It did.
that whenever I saw your picture, it was like, woo! That light is
Yeah.
like, but it was beautiful.
She has a
ignited
good-
something
Yeah,
in me that,
she
that must have
ignited
been
something
gone.
in you. That
and God knows. And
God
that's why
knows.
He put
We
her,
don't know.
He put her in your life.
Absolutely.
Because
that
when it
glow.
first happened, I was like, what's going on?
Like,
And then I
okay,
said,
God, what's
okay.
up with this?
And now she's like, no.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
And that's a blessing.
I don't have the need or urge to do anything else.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying every moment.
we can tell.
Yeah,
we can tell. We can
You
tell.
definitely have that glow about you, that motherhood
Absolutely.
glow about you. So God bless you and your family. We want, before we actually end the show, because we're about to wrap it up, is there's one thing that we wanted to do. The J Spot, we wanted to announce that they are doing a giveaway. We have a basket giveaway, which has a turkey, and y'all, I'm strong, but this thing is like, it's got, look, check it out. I'm taking this home if nobody wins it. But anyway, it's got a turkey. It's got, oh my God,
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
creamy butter,
Cornbread,
Betty
apple
Crocker's
juice.
cornbread, rice,
You got
whatever
some
have
wine
you.
in
You
there?
got cornbread.
Somebody's gonna have an amazing Thanksgiving. So with that said, we are for anyone who's given cards, business cards, over the course of the last number of months, we've thrown it out there. Send your business cards. We are going to pick a business card, and this is actually our special gift to you guys for whoever wins today. And let's see who's the winner of this basket. Okay, the basket is going to Sabrina Acosta, 31. She was the 31 vendor, and she was awesome. Oh my God, Sabrina Acosta from 31. You have a basket, so you should. Do they have to call? We have our information. We can give her a call. We'll give you a call, yep. Sabrina Acosta. Congratulations
Congratulations.
Yeah.
to you. She has a family, so this is incredible. So congratulations, Sabrina Acosta. And again, from the sistership, if you have a business, you're an entrepreneur, please send your business cards into us.
To us.
Or if you have an electronic business cards that they have now, you can email it to us. You can go to stepfire@thesistership.com, Tiffany Co @thesistership.com, or mail it in to this address, right? 383 East Brown Street, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Attention, the sistership.
Attention to sistership. What's the zip code here?
183
01.
301.
That's right.
So with that said, but thank you so much, Velena. Oh
you're
my God,
welcome. It was my
we're
pleasure.
so happy that we were able to
This was
talk.
like a girl's day out for
This
me.
was.
Hello.
And she was dressed up for the occasion
I'm
too.
like,
Because I'm about to get back in the jogger in like 5 minutes.
That's-
I gotta enjoy this.
We're all gonna do so. Thank you so much from the Sistership Network, Mama C, Velena Hayes, our powerhouse singer,
Okay.
your girl Stepfire, Tiffany Co Bling, and Genesis Radio, Terry Pickering. We'll see you again soon. Have a happy, blessed Thanksgiving holiday.
Absolutely.
We love y'all.
Woo-hoo. Thank you.
We on a sister ship. Come with us, we on a sister ship. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Roll with us, we on a sister ship.
Sistership, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about.
Sistership, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about this. Talk about that. Talk about faith. Talk about facts. Let's talk about living. Talk about giving. Talk about family. Talk about